सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Sairam everyone. Just to put things in perspective, we are studying the Bhaja Govindam verses. We are using the series of discourses delivered by Swami during the summer showers in 1973, where Swami had picked up 16 verses specifically and discoursed on them. They are not in the traditional order of the verses, but we are taking it in the order in which Swami has dealt with them. That's about 16 verses, after which we will continue the rest of the verses of the Bhaja Govindam. So today we have already covered 6 verses which Swami has dealt with. Today we are going to look at the 7th verse which Swami had explained, and that's the 12th verse in the Bhaja Govindam. But it's the 7th verse which Swami spoke on. Anyone who is interested in which discourse it is the discourse number 10 during the summer showers of 1973. Let's look at the verse itself. दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशा वायुः। दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशा वायुः। दिनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालः क्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशा वायुः. If we have to look at the letters, any pronunciation related aspects, dinayaminyam sayam pratah, there are no aspirated consonants. So it should be rather simple for you all to chant. The second line also does not have any aspirated consonants. Shishira vasantau punarayatah. The third one is kalaha kridati, no aspirated consonants. But gachat, this icha, there's a compound consonant, ich and cha. The second letter is the second letter in the cha varga or cha class of consonants, and it has to be aspirated. So it should say icha. Okay, gachatyayu. The last line, tadapina munchatyasha vayu. There are no aspirated consonants. So let's look at the split of the sandhis. So if you look at the first line, Dinayaminyam Sayam Pratha. There are no changes due to Sandhi. Okay, there are no Dinayaminyam, it's a long word, but it's just one word. There is no Sandhi. There's an internal Sandhi, but we will look at it when we look at the meaning. But it's by itself a single word, which has two components, but we will come to, because it's a pair. When we look at the grammatical aspects, we'll look at it. Same thing holds good for the Shishira Vasantav. That's also a long word, but it's just one word. Punarayataha, there's a Sandhi. If you split the Sandhi, it's Punaha and Ayataha. Punaha and Ayataha. Punaha, the Visarga at the end of Punaha becomes Ir because of Sandhi, or joining together of two words. So that Ir becomes, along with A, becomes Ra. So Puna Rayataha. Okay, so Visarga becomes Ir and it joins A and becomes Ra. So that's how you get Punarayata. The next line, Kalaha Kridati, there is no Sandhi related changes. The second word Gachatyayu has two words, Gachati and Ayuhu. The Ti and A becomes Thya, because in Sandhi, E plus A becomes Ya. So Gachat plus E plus A, Ya, then A. Okay. So that's a Itya it becomes. So Gachatyayu, that's because of Sandhi. The next line, Tadapi, is composed of two words, Tat and Api. The It becomes Id, the third letter in the Tavarga because of Sandhi. So that Id plus A becomes the. Okay, so that's how you get Tat plus Api becomes Tadapi. Okay, Tadapi. Na, it's a simple word. Munchatyasha Vayuhu, there's a Sandhi. It's Munchati and Asha Vayuhu. The Ti plus A becomes Tya here also. Just the way Gachati plus the Ti A becomes Tya, here also Ti plus A becomes Tya. Okay, Munchatyasha Vashu. But if you split it, it's Munchati Asha Vayu. So let's look at the word-to-word meaning in some grammatical aspects. Dina Yaminyav. Okay. So in this compound word, there are two distinct words. One is Dina, the other one is Yamini. Dina and Yamini. Dina means day. Yamini means night. Okay. Dina and Yamini means night, sorry, day and night. But when they are put together as a pair, they becomes a paired word. So there are two things which are related. So what happens is, the second in Sanskrit, there's something called Ekavachana, which is singular. Then Dvivachana, that means two, and Bahuvachana is plural. Okay, singular, dual, and plural. So what happens is, so it is a paired word. So it refers to two things, but it is one noun. So Dinayaminya is a simple noun which refers to two things. Okay, so that's why dual word it is. So it is the simple noun form of a two-word, a word which denotes two things. Okay, Dina plus Yamini, when they are put together as a single word, it becomes Dinayaminya. I don't want to get into too many grammatical details. If you know, for example, for just to give you some sense, if you say Ramaha, this one Rama. Ramau means two Ramas. Ramaha means many Ramas. Okay. So the same way, if you say Gauri, single Gauri, okay, two Gauris means Gauryav. So in this case, Yamini is single. Two nights means it'll become Yaminyav. But the same ending takes place because it's Dina is also added. So Dina and Yamini are together. I'll call Dina Yaminyav. So it's a simple noun from a grammatical aspect perspective. Okay, so day and night, this pair of day and night. The next one is Sayam. Sayam means evening time. Sayam is evening time. I don't know, in Tamil also many, or in other Indian languages, we'll say Sayam Kala. Sayam Kala becomes Sayam Kala means evening time when the sun is setting. Okay. Sayam is evening. Prataha. Prataha is morning. Okay, Prataha is morning time. So as you can see, day and night, Sayam and Pratha. So that's the 24-hour cycle. That is picked up here. So people can ask, why is Sayam and Pratha not joined together also? It's a question which people can ask. It's, I think, because of poetry. But that's also a pair, morning and evening. And you can also look at it slightly differently because Dina is daytime when everyone is active. Yamini is nighttime when everyone is sleeping. Then there's morning and evening, Sandhya Kala. As a side, I would say Swami has divided a day into different guna, attributed different gunas to time itself. Dina, daytime, is Rajas Kala, means a time where Rajas is predominant. So that is when we all will be active in the world. That is the daytime. So that denotes actually Rajas time, activity. Yamini is night. So that's the tamas time. So when everyone sleeps, takes rest. So that's a positive aspect of tamas, which is resting. Yamini, but it is tamas time, tamasic time. Then Sayam and Pratha, morning and evening. Swami says Dina, the 8 hours from 8 a.m. in the morning till 4 p.m. is Rajasic time. Nighttime 8 p.m. to morning 4 a.m. is Tamasic time when people have to rest. Sayam, that is 4 a.m. and 8 p.m., 8 a.m. in the morning is morning Sandhya. It's an auspicious time, it's a sattvic time. Then in the evening, that's Pratha, is 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Then evening, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is also sattvic time, where any prayers are good to be done. Okay, so they cover the entire 24-hour cycle. Then we'll go to the next word, Sheshira Vasantau. So that is also similar to Dinayaminyau. A pair of words are given. Shishira is the winter. Vasantau is spring. We are actually in the Shishira Vasantau time. Though it's supposed to be spring, we are still experiencing a bit of winter. So Shishira, we are just past Shishira and we are going into Vasanta. But Shishira and Vasanta together becomes, as a two pair, becomes Shishira Vasantau. You can ask why the other two seasons, so 4 seasons are not mentioned. But it just, Shishira Vasantau denotes seasons. But let's, for our practical purposes, it's winter and spring. Then the next word is punaha. Punaha means again. Okay. Punaha means again. Ayataha. So ayataha, I've given the meaning as come, but it also means that which has passed also. Ayataha means has come and gone. Both the meanings are possible for ayataha. I think we have looked at in the previous verse also the word ayataha. Okay. So ayataha is something which comes and something which goes also. Kutaha ayataha was the previous verse. I don't know whether you'll remember. Last verse we have looked at. From where did you come? Kaha, okay. Kasyatvam kaha kuta ayataha. We had looked at in the previous verse. So that ayataha means from where did you come? So you can say again and again they come. So when they come, they also go. Ayataha. So that is day and night, come and go. Morning and evening, or evening and morning, come and go. Winter and spring, come and go. Okay. Kalaha kridati. Kalaha is time. Kalaha is time. Kridati means it's a present tense verb. It's playing or plays. It's a simple present tense, or you can even say continuous present. Because in Sanskrit, present is only one. Kridati means it's plays or playing. Time is playing. So how does the time plays? The cycle of days, cycle of seasons come and go. That means the clock is ticking, in simple words. Gachati. Gachati means goes. It's going. It's also simple present tense verb. Gachati means it's going or goes. Both, maybe I should put just for Ayuhu. Ayuhu means age. So the time is playing, and our lifespan is also going. Every day we are losing a span of our life. Gachati ayuhu. Because it's like a river which flows, we will never get back. Every second which passes, we can never get back in this life. So time is flying, life is flying. Okay, let's moving on. Then the next word is tat. Tat is that. Api is even. In this case, api has multiple meanings. Api means also. Okay, that type of meaning also. But when you put together tat and api, okay, you can say even then type of meaning comes in this verse. Okay, even then. Okay, time is moving on. It's playing its game. Our age is advancing. Even then, tadapi. Na means not, negation, not. Okay, na. Munchati. Munchati means leaving. Okay, leaving or giving up, you can say. Na munchati means it's not leaving. It is not giving up. So what is not giving up? Asha Vayuhu. Vayuhu, Asha means desire. Vayuhu means wind. The wind of desires is not letting up. It's not leaving. It has a tight grip on us. So that is what this verse says. It implies something. What it implies is the time is flying, seasons are going, and days and night is moving on. Seasons are coming. That means years are rolling, and the time is continuously playing, and our life is moving on. We are losing day by day something. It's gone. Time is gone. As Swami says, time waste is life waste. Every second matters. Even then, the Asha Vayu is not letting go. The winds of desires. How does the winds of desire affect us? The winds are blowing through our senses. The desire is flowing through our senses. And that is not letting up. That is also not stopping. Okay, so that's this verse. We look at Swami's discourse. I will read it, and we can discuss anything at the end. So this is actually the 10th discourse of Summer Showers, 1973. Night follows day, and day follows night. Summer follows winter, and winter follows summer. Thus time marches on, engulfing us and making our lives shorter. In spite of this, one clings to desires. Time is moving away fast like the wind. The duration of our life is melting away like a block of ice. We will drop the body sometime or other and leave this world without knowing the purpose of life. When life departs, the body will either be buried or cremated. What is distinctive of human life? Man must recognize the sacred task for which he has taken birth. If he spends his time only in fulfilling his sensuous desires, he will be wasting his life. The duration of a life is an important factor. Therefore, time should be used properly. Man is relying very much on his physical and mental strength. He is not making the slightest attempt to fall back on divine strength. Today, in the human heart, there's a huge fire. The fire of anger, the fire of lust, the fire of greed, the fire of attachment are always burning in his heart. He does not seem to realize that all these fires can completely consume him and reduce him to ashes. Unmindful of this, he carries on his life and makes grandiose plans for his future. If a snake has entered the house, no one will dare to eat, move about, or sleep in that house. It's only after the snake is killed that the inmates can live in peace. In this body of ours, which is like our home, the snake of desires is living. Not only is the snake of desires living, but it's also giving birth to its own offspring in the form of many further desires. While the snake in the form of so many desires is living, growing, and flourishing in our body, one wonders how man can live in peace. He must have a lot of courage to live in the house full of such snakes. One does not understand if he does this knowingly or unknowingly. Our birth, our life, our growth, our decadence, and our destruction are all a result of passing time. Night following the day, and day following the night are also a consequence of passing time. When it's daytime for us in India, it is nighttime for people in America. For half the earth, it appears as day, while the other half, it is night. The earth itself is teaching us a good lesson by exchanging the darkness of one half with the brightness of the other half. In spite of this lesson, we believe that our life is unchanging and permanent. This is ridiculous. That we change from boyhood to youth, from youth to old age, is illustrative of the fact that passage of time brings about changes in us. This time can be referred to as goddess Kalika or Kala. This goddess is dancing on the stage of our life, and as she dances, time moves on and span of our life is shortening. The time that has gone behind is called the past. The time that is now current is called the present. And the time that is ahead is called the future. By remembering what has happened in the past and by thinking of what is happening now, we go on imagining several successes and wish to do many things in the future. The past, present, and future are all coming because of changing time. They're not something which are specially created. Our primary objective should be to recognize the nature of time and utilize it in a sacred manner. That is the lesson that all the Shastras and Vedas teach us. When time itself is swallowing every individual, to grieve and to think that an individual is permanent is not the right thing. The goddess of time is swallowing everyone. It is possible that the beautiful spring season that has gone may come again. It's also possible that the phases of the moon that have gone may come again. But the water that has flown in the river and the youth that has gone behind you will never come back. Since life is a stream moving in one direction only, it is necessary for us to spend our life in a purposeful manner. In many parts of our country, when we see wealthy people, we say that they had helped others in their previous births, and therefore they have got wealth in this birth. This is a common way of talking. We say that one who had led a righteous life, gave to many charities, and made several sacrifices in his previous life, will be born in a wealthy family in this life. Sometimes people are born in a poor family and go into wealthy family by adoption. One may be born as a very poor man, and as time goes on, he may become a very wealthy person by his luck. Further, even after being born a poor man, one may get good education, get into a good job, earn plenty of money, and end up as a wealthy person. In the modern age, it is also quite possible that one who is born poor can acquire lakhs of rupees by winning a prize in a lottery if he has luck. Above all, one may have God's grace, and as a result of this grace, he may become a very wealthy person. For all this happiness and good luck, his actions in his previous life are responsible. His attempts during this life are not the causes. In our vision, if our vision is directed outwards, then we are not able to see ourselves. The true vision of self will be available to us only when we turn our vision away from the material things. Our intellect is like a torchlight. So long as you turn this torchlight outwards, you'll be able to see the road and the people on the road. But you will not be able to see yourself. When this torch is turned towards yourself, your form can be seen by you. God has given you a clean mirror in the form of intellect. Instead of looking at yourself in this mirror, you are keeping the mirror facing others. If you want to have Atma Sakshatkara, or look at yourself, you must put the mirror in front of your face. Shankara has given these words of Bhaja Govindam in order to make us realize that time is sacred and that we should respect the God of time. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to spend his entire time in the direction of securing the vision of God. As the night approached, he used to think that he had not had the good fortune of having the vision of God during the whole of that day, and that he used to shed tears thinking that another day was wasted. Today, young people seem to acquire expertise in wasting time. They talk about unnecessary things for hours together. If they have no other work, they read silly story books and waste time in engaging themselves in useless avocations. Any work which has no specific purpose or use in daily life means wasting time. If you have no specific work to do, make it a habit to read sacred books concerning our culture. Read books like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and so on. Your mind is like a lens. If you read impure thoughts, then that impurity will get imprinted on the plate of your heart through the lens of your mind. Therefore, you must make an attempt to do good, be good, and see good. Thus, you must turn your mind in the right direction. Today, you have been told that you will become a realized soul if you feel that I and you are one. This is not possible, since I and you can never be one. They always remain as two. You will become a true Advaitin when you realize that I am I, are one, or that you and you are one. So this is a discourse from 1973, Samashavas, where Swami has talked about this verse in the Bhaja Govindam. Dinayaminyam sayam prata shishira vasanto punarayataha. Okay. So kalaha kridati gacchatyayuhu tadapi na munchati asha vayuhu. That's the verse. I have also picked up another excerpt of Swami. So, it is a continuation of this verse. Okay, sorry, sorry. The discourse continues. There's a small story to illustrate this. When a guru was sitting and teaching his disciples one day, he said, Guru Brahma, Sishya Brahma, Sarvam Brahma. Thus, the guru was implying that everything in the universe was Brahman. Every day, one disciple was accustomed to greet the guru respectfully on his arrival. But after this particular event, he did not do so. And he never got up from his seat. The guru questioned him on the strange behavior, and the disciple replied that the previous day the guru said that everything is Brahman, and therefore there was no difference between them. Then the teacher thought that what he had said had come back to him as a boomerang, and he wanted to teach the student a good lesson. He went to the board and wrote Guru Brahma as two different words. He also wrote Sishya Brahma. and Sarvam Brahma. When you look at these three, though Brahma is occurring as the same in all the three, the Guru, Sishya, and Sarvam are different. Only when these three words also become one can you say that all are one. Thus, until you are able to experience this oneness of all in practice, the student will remain a student and a teacher will remain a teacher. And there is no escape from the need for the student having to respect, and, and there's no escape from the need for the student having to respect the teacher. The basis is one, but the containers are different. There's another example for this. There's a big stone on the hill, and an artisan chisels this into the form of Krishna's statue. Then he takes this statue and puts it in a temple and worships it. After the statue is prepared, there will be some bits of stone left over, and these bits may say Tattvamasi, that they are the same as the basic stone from which the figure of Krishna was carved. But no one will pay homage or worship those bits of stone. All will worship only the statue of Krishna. When we take the significant meaning and look at the basis, the material of the statue and the leftover pieces are one and the same. But for superficial assessment, the Krishna statue is different from the stone bits, and we worship only the Krishna statue. Such is the relationship between the world and its creator. The Prakriti and the Purusha are different from each other. Oneness between them will be evident only when there's an amalgamation of the two in your thoughts. You cannot see non-dualism in them so long as you feel they are distinct from each other. In our mind, we should be able to move from Prakriti to Purusha and join them together. We should make an attempt to join these two by taking Prakriti to Purusha. On the contrary, we are dragging Purusha down to the level of Prakriti. You may worship a picture as God, but not God as a picture. You can elevate a piece of stone, a piece of mud, or a bit of paper to the position of God and worship it. But do not bring down God to the position of a piece of stone or a bit of paper. In our Indian culture, it has been said, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. That is, Ishvara is present in all things. You may thus think of a stone as Ishvara, but not Ishvara as a stone. Sometimes Westerners ridicule us by saying that we worship a stone and imagine it to be God. The correct interpretation is that we are accustomed to believe that God is present in everything in this world. Therefore, we worship tulasi leaves, we worship the cow, the aswatha tree, the lion, the tiger, the snake, and in fact, all creation in this world, because God is present in everything in this world. Indians should not think that we are doing this in blind faith. The young people should read the great texts which portray our traditions and also know the lives of great people who lived in our country. This is the purpose with which we have started these summer classes. So as you can see, the verse which Shankara talked about, that which we are not doing, he only talked half of it. He talked about the problem. The time is moving on. The time is playing its game, and our lifespan is shortening. Our life is moving on. But the desires are not letting go of us. That's what the verse says. But then Swami has given the second piece. What we should realize, what that we should do, Swami has covered here. So he says sometimes even our understanding of spiritual truths is wrong. Like, if you say Paramatma, Jivatma, one means people think that Jivatma is Paramatma. They're not realizing one is Jiva, one is Parama. In the same way, Swami says Guru, Sishya, and Sarvam. As long as we see the world as different, sadhana is needed. And once we only identify with Brahman, everything is the same. And for that, Swami is giving how we should spend time. As you can see, Swami has said we should study good things, we should read good things, we should do good things. So Swami is advising the students, because the Samashavas are for youngsters. He's saying they should read the text and study the text to understand what our traditions are saying and learn from that. So that's the discourse from the Samashavas 1973. I have another excerpt from one of the discourses, again in 1973 during Swami's birthday. So I will just read that also. And then if there are any questions, we can discuss. An important rite in the Vedic yajna is called Somapa. In order to grasp the inner significance of the Vedic or other ceremonials, one has to spend some thought on symbolism. For example, let us take this Somapa itself. Pa means drinking, and the rite is generally supposed to indicate drinking of a juice called Soma. No, Soma means the moon, and the moon cannot be swallowed or drunk by man. It also means the mind. The changing mind that waxes and wanes is never the same for long. That is why the Vedas say that the mind was mothered by the moon. So drinking the moon means the process by which the mind is controlled, made defunct, harmless. That is the purpose of the yajna, the sacrifice of the whims of the mind for gaining the realm of the universal eternal truth. With the mind left intact, no yajna is fruitful, for it has 1,000 tricks by which it can drag you into perdition. Fix the mind on the name, the sound symbol of the Lord. Then it cannot wander away. The divine is the flame of the lamp ever burning in the altar, namely the body. Keep the flame safe from the gusts of wind, namely the gusts of passion and desire that blow from all quarters. Sit in a quiet place, away from crowded groups of men or sensations or thoughts that distract. When you have reached the stage, when you have reached the stage, when you can be wholly engrossed in the name and the form it represents, isolating yourself from distraction is not required. But that does not mean you can parade your spiritual practices in the marketplace, as some crazy people do now. Do not yearn for approbation and appreciation from the public. Pray that God may approve, accept, and appreciate your twaddle and your prattle. So this is a discourse. So I picked this up because Swami is talking about how the gusts of winds, Ashavayuhu, can try to put the flame of divinity in us. And because of that, I picked this one up. As you can see, Swami is also talking about the Somapa. So in the Vedic Yajna texts, Vedas also, it says people drank the soma. So modern day translators have said soma juice was some liquor. The Vedic rishis were drinking that liquor. That is an incorrect understanding of what the Vedas stand for, as Swami has explained here. So as you can see, Swami has been trying to teach people what the inner significance of Vedic rituals are and what they really mean. So I will stop here. I think if there are any questions on anything which we discussed today, if anyone has, I can share any answers which I have. Yes, Brother Vimalesa, please go ahead. I think you had to unmute and speak, brother.
Sorry,
Okay.
Sairam.
Sorry.
No, I just want to ask in the traditional meanings with Rudram, I have a book. You know, you must know. So they say the for Soma thing in the Rudram itself. It comes. Some of the words connote meaning. Some wooden utensils, things like that, to
Yes.
where the soma creeper is put and
Yes.
squeeze and get the juice and all
Yes.
those things.
Yes.
So my question is, no, this explanation Swami gives is so profound, but is it there in the traditional interpretation or meanings anywhere?
See, the thing is, brother, what we think traditional is all English translations which we have in our hands. So even the traditional people today, the knowledge in India is to some extent deteriorated so much that an avatar is needed to come and make people understand what the real meaning is. You should understand in India during the invasions, many of these texts were just taken away and they are not even present in India. And the scholars who really understood were confined to very small groups, and they are not educated in English. Because of that, some of this knowledge has remained in very small circles, and even there have been deterioration because many generations have passed in the past 1,000 years when uh, families got disrupted, family lives got disrupted, and people didn't even have time to study and propagate some of this knowledge. So, what you find as traditional translations can be very, very misleading and they don't mean much, which is available in in print everywhere. And that is one reason, we are trying, to study some of this with the words Swami has spoken. Because during all these discourses, Swami has covered most of the topics related to in the Vedic rituals and so on.
Okay.
Even the Sathya Sai speaks, which you have, is a summarized version of Swami's talks.
Mm-hmm.
So because many of the things which Swami explained are lost in the translation in English, number one, and then the summarization, which is presented in Sathya Sai speaks. So there's a lot of work which we have to do to study. We can say, oh, why is no one doing it? Why can't somebody do? So that's a reality. So what we think traditional, what we believe is traditional itself is questionable. But when you say, so for even if you take Rudram, there are many vessels, the implements used in the Yajna are mentioned. Yes, they are mentioned. But the thing is, the problem is some of the translations, uh, certain misunderstandings creep into the translation. Yes, the rituals were done with the implements like the spoons, the vessels, the buckets, and so on.
Right.
But you should understand that each of those buckets also refer to something in our body.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
For example, I don't know, in the last one of the classes, Chamakam classes, somebody asked me this question: what is Drona Kalasha?
Mm-hmm.
So Drona Kalasha, the translation is a bucket or a large container where soma juice is stored.
Okay.
Okay, and that is offered in the yajna. Yes, soma creeper is squeezed and put in and the yajna is performed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's offered. But the thing is that symbolizes something in us.
Oh, okay.
So the Drona Kalasha is the largest vehicle which collects the soma.
Right.
So the thing is, the soma which is squeezed, as Swami has said, the mind should be squeezed. So the
Mm-hmm.
mind should be controlled. Once the mind is controlled and focused, what comes through this mind is all positive.
Mm-hmm.
The feelings will be positive, but that's all contained in the heart,
Okay.
which is the Drona Kalasha, where you collect.
Mm-hmm.
And that is in the form of love. And that can be offered.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so but the thing is, in paying too much attention to okay, which creeper, how we squeeze, we forget sometimes the inner significance of that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that when we say traditional, there's something called literal meaning.
Literal. Yeah.
Then there is something is implied, lakshartha. Swami in Prashnottara Vahini is saying vachyartha and lakshartha.
Mm-hmm.
So he says vachyartha is the name of a word.
Mm-hmm.
Even in terms of spiritual philosophy, the mean we can understand it like I spoke about Drona Kalasha. So there, Drona Kalasha means a bucket physically.
Mm-hmm.
Then that is your vachyartha. That's the meaning of the word. But then the lakshartha, what is implied is the vessel of heart.
Okay.
So if in this same concept Swami has talked about in this, when he says you take a stone, you carve a statue of God,
Mm-hmm.
and then you worship that. Okay. Are you worshipping the stone, which is the literal thing?
Right.
But are you worshipping the form, which the statue of Krishna? That's also literal. But that symbolizes the Lakshyartha is the Krishna himself or God himself.
Right. Right.
But when you take the God, then are we restricting that God to a physical form which wears some clothes? No,
Right.
that goes beyond that also. What is the divine energy which is encased in that form? So
Okay.
there are multiple levels of meaning in each
Right.
word.
Right.
And so depends when you say traditional, what literal, implied, and spiritual.
Right.
And then Swami will say one day you think of Krishna so much that you even forget his form. You are
Right.
just engrossed in the experience of Krishna.
Right.
So that is also traditional. So everything is actually traditional. But so I hope
Right,
I
right. Yeah, more than the literal, as you said. Yeah, the literal versus
so
the.
if we stick,
Uh,
yeah, but the thing is to get to the final, you have to start with the literal also properly.
right.
And so that is the whole idea of even Vedic chanting. At the end
Okay.
of the day, if we cannot experience, we are not chanting. We are
Right.
still in the elementary stages of our journey.
Right.
So I
Okay.
hope
Thank you. That's very, very enlightening. Thank you.
and Swami is, I am just explaining the discourse which Swami gave here. Swami says, don't make God into stone. Take stone to God. So I will stop here. Yes, Santi Saku. I think you have to unmute and speak.
Sairam, I don't know.
Sairam.
Thank you for explaining because I wanted to ask this question which Vimalesan asked about the Chamakam. We learned about the Somapanam and Drona Kalasam and all. So now you have explained the implied meaning, literal meaning, spiritual meaning. Thank you. You have given an insight into everything. Thank you.
Sairam. So we'll close the session with Samastavoka Sairam. ॐ समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति 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 Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Sai Ram.
Thank you, Saira.